show that is just like Hot Ones, but featuring NIC alumni. My name is Gerry McCray, and I'm the host, and today we are joined by Josh Misner. Hello, Josh.
Hello, Gary. And hello, whatever this is in front of me.
Yeah, so we're going to be eating a series of increasingly spicy wings, just like the show Hot Ones. So let's just start off and eat the first wing. Josh, you ready for that?
I am absolutely ready whenever you are, Gary. Cheers.
Cheers. This is the Howler Monkey hot sauce.
Howler Monkey. That is surprisingly mild. All that fear was for nothing. You know that's a prediction, right? And it's going to come back to bite me in the ass later.
Yeah, they actually only get milder, so, yeah.
I am going in the right order, right? Oh, yeah, yes.
So, Josh, obviously this year has been a lot different than most years in terms of everything. What has it been like teaching during COVID?
Oh, teaching has been all new sets of challenges. I think one of the hardest of which has been teaching from home and just kind of feeling this weird disconnect from campus and from the classroom. And I think a lot of professors will tell you that when you're teaching, and I guess this kind of goes for performers and comedians and stuff too, you feed off of the energy of your classroom. And so if I'm up there and I'm telling a really stupid joke and I get a few laughs, and it's like it energizes me and it makes me want to go even further in depth with whatever it is that I'm talking about. I don't get that at home. I don't get any of that energy. It's just been a very, very surreal environment. And it's one of those things that I think we'll look back on and we'll say, you know, we learned a lot of lessons about what works and what doesn't this year. And I honestly don't think that education is ever going to be the same.
So I've taken some of your classes, and you're obviously very family oriented. You talk about your family a lot. Has COVID really changed like your family dynamic, like being at home a lot more, or how's that been?
Absolutely. So at the beginning of the pandemic, everybody, I'm sure everybody remembers this. The community basically went into lockdown. The schools closed down. Everyone went home. Kids started doing school online. And I really hate to talk smack about other educators, but I think that NIC as a college was much more prepared for this massive transition into online education than anybody else was, because we've been doing online education for a really long time. I think the K through 12 sector was definitely not as prepared for it. And it kind of set everybody into a panic, to be honest. And that's kind of how it felt, seeing my kids try to go through this massive transition into online classes. It got so bad to the point where I was actually spending like half my day trying to help my kids navigate 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even sometimes 6 different websites just to go in there and do their homework and learn these lessons and watch these videos. And now you have to sign up for this account and now this account. And so one of the biggest things that it's done is it's kind of exposed all of those holes in education and opportunities where we can definitely improve on that front. But after we all kind of settled into a routine and everything, my office kept getting moved from one point in the house to the other. At first, it started off in this tiny little room, and then that becomes the pet's room. Okay, Josh, now you're moving to the living room. Wait, Dad, I want the TV because I want to play Fortnite. Dad, move to the bedroom. Okay, now I'm moving to the bedroom. And so I'm like moving around all these different places. And that can definitely get a little bit hectic. So fortunately, ever since getting vaccinated, I've found myself working in my office on campus a lot more. And it's been nice to kind of return to that feeling of normalcy, at least to some degree.
Okay, are you ready to take the second?
Let's do this.
All right.
What is the second one?
This is the heartbeat.
The heartbeat hot sauce with red habanero out of Thunder Bay, Ontario. Thank you, Canada. Let's do this. Okay. That's sweet. Again, not what I was expecting. Did I put enough on this thing? I'm just not getting the heat from that one. But boy, really, really, really sweet.
You're getting more confident.
Most likely overconfident. And again, that's going to come back and bite me later. I'm pretty confident of that.
So a lot of your classes talk about mindfulness, and how were you inspired, or how did like mindfulness become something that you wanted to like actively teach? And what is mindfulness?
Oh man, I love that question. You got a couple hours, right? Like this interview could just go on for a while. I'll give you the short version. So here I am at Gonzaga University. I am in I'm getting ready to head into my last semester to graduate with my bachelor's degree. And I go into their system and I do a degree audit, like a good student should, just to make sure like I've gotten all the checks checked off. And there was something missing. There was a foreign language and culture requirement. And so my very first attempt was, hey, I took 4 years of Japanese in high school that I can't remember. Can that count? And they said, no, of course that can't count. And so then the next thing I did is I said, okay, I'm going to look up all the languages. Every single one of the language classes was like 4 or 5 days a week. And they didn't fit with my schedule. I was working like all these part-time jobs at the time and they just didn't fit. And so I'm like freaking out going, how am I going to fit this one class in? Otherwise, I have to push off my graduation a whole nother semester just to be able to fit in that one class. So scrolling through, finally found the perfect one. It fulfilled everything I needed. It fit in my schedule. It was a class on Buddhism being taught at a Jesuit university by an Italian professor whose degree was in studies of Islam. Like, do you realize how many layers deep that goes? So anyway, I signed up for the class. And within the class, as we were studying Buddhism, one of the biggest concepts that's most present in most of Buddhism is mindfulness. And so it really started getting me thinking about this idea of presence and like being more in the moment, being more aware of not just my surroundings, but like how I'm interacting with my surroundings. So as a communication major, I found that to be incredibly valuable and applicable to all aspects of communication. And so I kind of made a vow to myself that someday when I'm going on to teach communication, that I am going to find ways to incorporate mindfulness into everything. So mindfulness in public speaking means that you're aware of your audience and you're aware of how they're reacting to your delivery of your message. Awareness in intercultural is awareness of other cultures and your ability to adapt to them. And then, of course, most importantly, awareness in your interpersonal relationships is how aware you are of how you're interacting with the people that are most important with you and how you're developing those relationships. So I found it to be incredibly valuable, not just in my own life. And that's like what's inspired a lot of what I teach in those communication classes. In fact, a lot of the activities that I have my students do that they often feel are rather torturous to complete are activities that I did that I was like, this is a holy shit moment. Like, wow, I can't believe that this has impacted my life so much.
Can you give an example of an activity that you really like or that draws a lot out of students?
My favorite one, every single time I announce it, at least this goes back to the in-classroom days, every single time I explain the concept. There will always be one student who raises their hand, and then I'm like, yes, because I know exactly what's coming out of their mouth next. And then they say, why do you hate us so much that you would force us to do this? So the activity, well, I call it the blind spot activity. We all have blind spots in our everyday interaction, our personality, and these are blind spots. We're doing something that annoys other people that we don't even realize that we're doing it. And so what they have to do is they have to sit down with somebody who's important to them. They have to ask that person, what is it about me that annoys you more than anything else? And then they have to sit and listen without an ounce of defensiveness. And they all go into it terrified, kind of like, I'm staring down these wings right now. But then they come back afterward and they say, that was amazing. I learned things about myself that I never even knew existed. I didn't know this was bugging this person, and it bothers me to find out that I'm doing this, so I'm going to work on it. And so then they end up finding out it's not so bad to take critique, and it's even easier to take critique when we're not defensive about it.
Well, are you ready to dig into the third wing?
Numero tres. Let's do this. So
it should be the son of zombie.
Son of Zombie, all natural wing sauce by Torchbearer Sauces. That's good advertising right there.
How do you feel going into it?
Well, anything that has to do with the undead, like, I'm a huge fan. So we'll see how it hits the palate. It doesn't taste like rotting, reanimated flesh. So I'm thinking there's no zombies actually in the sauce, and that's probably a good thing.
I'd have to double check the ingredients to make sure on that.
Good call. It's tasty, though.
Feeling any more spice than the last two, or?
I'd say it's probably about equal with the last one. No, it definitely didn't have the sweetness. Which the sweetness was it threw me off a little bit. It's a slow building heat. There it is. This one's kind of in the back of the mouth too. Maybe I should have let it sit there for a while. But I'm not doing it.
So you have all of a sudden gained the ability to teleport. What sound would your teleporting make?
That's a fascinating question, and one that often keeps me up at night. The 6-year-old child in me wants it to be like, it's going to sound like a fart, because then when I'm gone, like, everybody's going to look around at each other and be like, who did that? Wait a second, where's Misner? But maybe more like a whoosh, just kind of silently dissipate into nothingness. But if I'm being honest, I'm going for the fart.
All right, let's move on to the Bravado Black Garlic Wing.
Bravado Black Garlic with Carolina Reaper, which, I did my research before this, is the world's hottest hot pepper. Or at least I believe so. How much Carolina Reaper in it, though? That's what remains to be seen.
Ooh.
Vinegary. Disturbingly enough, my wife has actually caught me taking a sip of vinegar from a bottle before.
Just distilled white, or?
Yes.
It's good stuff.
Rice vinegar, red wine vinegar. I really like vinegar. I'm sorry. One of my guilty pleasures. I'm bitter like that. That's a good one. Definitely an increase in the heat. Definitely making me eyeball that water over there. But I'm not doing it because I have a bet with my daughter. But I'm going to win.
What's that bet for?
What?
What's the bet for?
So, uno momento, por favor. If I can get through all 6 wings without busting open the water or the milk, man, that one's really making me lose my mind. Like that heat just gets in there and kicks in. If I can do all that, then I get our next 2 movie night picks. And my movie night picks are typically, they're very childish. I mean, we're talking like Talladega Nights, it's classic, Step Brothers, things like that.
Okay.
And she doesn't really like that genre as much. And so, yeah.
Are you getting tempted to crack it open a little bit?
Oh my God, you have no idea. It's beckoning me. Like I can hear it in this ear. It's like, Josh, drink me. Cool your flaming tongue and have some relief. And I'm not going to do it. Nope.
Let's just quickly move on to the next one.
Okay.
We're gonna go dive straight into the bomb. Are you ready for that?
Is anyone ever ready for the bomb? I think I'm sweating. I think I literally feel myself sweating now. Well, my foe, here we meet on the battlefield of spice. I have been dreading this. I probably put way too much of it on.
You never put enough on there.
This is my nemesis. My heart rate is rising. But regardless, I say, for the rebellion. Oh my God. Oh. That is a crime against nature.
It tastes so bad.
That is so awful. Like, if you want me to describe what that tastes like for somebody watching this show, that tastes what I imagine sin tastes like. And I'm not talking about like a little white liar cheating on your taxes. Like, that is a big sin that you end up getting tortured by a horned demon with a fiery pineapple in hell for all of eternity. That is awful. Oh. I'm still trying to finish it. Oh, this hurts. Okay. Clean napkin time. Woo. There's the tears by Sentinel.
So you said for the rebellion.
Yeah.
So you're obviously a big Star Wars fan.
What? Whew. Huge Star Wars fan. First movie I ever saw.
And you have any Star Wars tattoos?
I do. I have a Darth Vader tattoo right here. And then the quote from every single Star Wars movie, I have a bad feeling about this, which I said in my own mind just moments ago.
Hey, let's get the official Josh Misner ranking of the Star Wars movies.
Oh man, this is controversial. All right, Empire, number 1. My very first movie I ever saw in the movie theaters was the original Star Wars: A New Hope, before they started giving them episode names. And I remember I was so enthralled. Like, here I am, this like, how old was I? Like 3. And I'm assuming my parents couldn't find a babysitter to watch their obnoxious little kid. And so they took me. But I remember I was like this up against the seat in front of me, just going the whole time, like so mesmerized by everything that I was seeing, that obviously it left a huge impact on me, because like I don't think a single day, maybe even not a single hour goes by without some stupid Star Wars quote. Although I will admit my son does it a lot more frequently than I do. Like every day I can count on hearing, I don't like sand, its course, and she gets in all places or something like that. I hear, "Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?" To which I always have to respond, and my brain isn't even functioning right now. I can't think of the next line. Or like he'll be getting ready to do something, and I'll just look at him and I'll go, "Do it." The classic Palpatine line. So we got Empire at the top. It really makes the nose run. I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this, but I'm putting Force Awakens second. Like
Wow.
The Force Awakens to me, like it reignited my love for Star Wars because like the prequels, man, the prequels left a bad taste in my mouth. Not as bad as the bomb. That was far worse. But the best part of the prequels, Darth Maul, John Williams music, Qui-Gon Jinn, the fight between Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon Jinn. In other words, the best part of the prequels took place in a span of about 15 minutes, and then the rest of it was total trash.
Except for Jar Jar.
Oh my God, don't get me started on Jar Jar. And the whole theory of Darth Jar Jar is behind everything. So we got Empire, we got Force Awakens. I'm probably going to throw Return of the Jedi and New Hope. They're very close to the same. And by the way, these are just the original ones. These are not the side movies. Because if we were counting the side movies here, Rogue One would be like right after Empire. Rogue One was a masterpiece of film. Did not get the credit I think it really deserved. And then I would actually like have Solo somewhere in there in my top 5 as well, because I thought that movie was just fun. Like going to see that movie, it made me feel like a kid again. I'm in the theater and I was probably leaning on the seat in front of me, and then the person sitting in that seat is really annoyed, but because I'm like chewing popcorn in their ear. But it's kind of what I do. It takes me back to that moment of my childhood, and then the rest, like going down from that, at the very, very bottom, it's kind of hard to mix up the middle, but at the very, very, very bottom is going to be episode 2. That one just annoys me. Like I cannot do.
It's like sand.
It gets in places and it sucks.
How are you feeling right now?
I am on fire. I am very metaphorically and physically on fire. You may not be able to see the flames, but they're somewhere back around my molars, and they're scorching. They really are bad. I'm feeling some charring of the inside of my cheeks. It's going to take some days to get over. So thanks. Thanks for that.
So starting the last wing can't make it any worse, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
And you're almost done. You haven't drank any of the milk or water yet, even though I'm sure your daughter would love for you to do that.
Unsealed. Or still sealed. That's what it's doing to my brain. Wow.
All right, well, let's dig into the 6th and final one.
So the 6th and final one, I'm not going to put you all at risk of any copyright infringement, but I do think that it needs a little bit of extra.
Okay, yeah.
Just on top of it. We're just gonna stack that right there as a celebration of this being, thankfully, the last wing that I have to suffer through at this moment. But cheers.
Cheers.
That's better. Oh my God, that is so much better. Why don't they ever put the bomb last?
Right?
This is supposed to be hotter. It's not, by far. I actually went in for seconds on that bad boy.
So, this is your last semester at NIC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, if you're heading out the door, you can just bad talk anyone you want. Like, who's the person you hate the most here that you just do not regret at all? Like, your decision to leave, you're just like, oh man, that Jeff Carr guy, that Brian Hannaford guy, I don't have to see them anymore.
I honestly don't have anybody to backtalk or badmouth.
Back talk though, that's another story. Like Jeff, I'm looking at you, man, for setting this whole thing up. I will back talk to you until I die again. But bad mouthing, no. One of the beautiful things about this college, about working for this college and all of the colleagues that I work with, is that they are all so incredibly amazing. And I'm not just being a kiss ass here. Like, they are incredible people, and the care that they show for their students every single day and everything that they do, even behind the scenes, like students only see like a very, very small part of what goes on here. And it isn't really until you really start digging into programs and getting further into it and interacting with faculty more that you start to realize the tremendous amounts of work and sacrifice and dedication that go into kind of creating that environment for students in the classroom on a regular basis, even online. I mean, some people just make it look super easy, but the amount of work and care that they put into it is tremendous. And to see that and to learn from them over the last 13 years it's been an absolute honor. And I will certainly miss North Idaho College probably more than any other job that I've ever done in my entire life.
So what's next?
So what's next? No more snow. We are headed south in the exact opposite direction of everyone south who's heading north. And so I imagine that our lane on the freeway is going to be that much more clear of U-Hauls and trailers and whatnot. But if I'm being honest, after we did a semester at sea in fall of 2019, by the way, if you're a student or even a faculty member, look into Semester at Sea. It is the most amazing program. It is life-changing. It is beyond anything that you could ever imagine. We got on board a ship with about 400 or so other students from all over the country and all over the world, and we sailed about 20,000 nautical miles around the world to, we did 12, 13 countries on 4 continents. We saw so many cultures throughout the world that it really kind of opened up our eyes, and we said, you know what, there's a lot more to this world than just North Idaho, kind of where we've been in the Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area our entire lives. And it's just time to experience something else. It's just time to take that giant leap into the void and see what happens next. And so we decided if we're going to do that, we're going to be somewhere near an ocean. We're going to be somewhere that has good weather. And in the words of the great Jeff Spicoli in the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High, all I need are some tasty waves and a cool buzz, and I'm fine.
Well, congratulations on your new opportunity.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Hot Cards.
And I would say thank you for the torture, but I will carry a burning, raging hate fire for all of you in this room for putting me through that torture, despite how fun and remarkably memorable it was. So thank you for that.
And thank you so much for watching. This has been Hot Cards, and we hope to see you again sometime in the future. Thanks.